All right, let's go ahead and get started. This paper one. So for those who are a bit late to the party, we're dealing with the May-June 2019 paper for the CSEC English B exams. So this is a paper one, a past paper, and we'll be tackling this paper. I'll be suggesting my answers for the questions, of course, along with explanations, justifications, and hopefully this will be some good practice for you guys because your exams are coming up pretty soon. All right, so here we have the front page. It tells us we have 60 items, of course, and we have 2 hours in which to do the paper. And it's just regular paper one stuff. Choose the correct answer by shading in one of the circles. That's pretty much it. Now, we have already done this passage. We did this passage in the last session. So what I'll do, in case some persons might have missed that session, is I won't be reading this passage again. I won't be analyzing the questions. I'll just give you guys my answers for those who might want to actually just write the answers down. Maybe you're trying to develop an answer key. Maybe you have this paper and you just want to double check some answers. So I'll just give you guys the answers because we already did this passage in the previous live. If you want to see the explanations for the answers for this passage, then watch the previous live, but I'll not be going into it again. So I'll just be highlighting the answers here. That's all. So number 1, B, a train station. Number 2, A, a small confined space. So this is just for you guys who missed the last session, or maybe you were in the last session, but you forgot to write these answers down. Yeah. Number 3, A. Okay, I hope this is making sense for you guys. If you want to see the explanations for these answers, check the previous live. I'm just recapping these answers here. Number 4, C. Yeah, just recapping. You might understand now when I say that practicing the paper ones is really good, not just for understanding the concepts behind how to answer, but it's also good because there are usually lots of repeat passages, lots of repeat questions. And even if they sometimes, shift a few things around, if they repeat a passage, chances are they're going to repeat all or most of the questions on that passage. So we can actually move on to the second passage, which is a new one. I'll read the passage from beginning to end, and then we'll take a look at the questions. And of course, you can send your answers in. Right? Peak time, market atmosphere, and crowd. Mama Taiye, in a low voice. Shh. Taiye, here he comes. Please don't look. Who? The nameless one. The rat that feeds in full view of householders. He has passed us now. I think he spots a victim nearby. That small boy, ma? Small boy? I've seen him steal a machine with heavy iron stand, while everyone but the owner was looking. His master is not around yet. Keep your eyes open. The Jaguda boys. I say, shut up. Look. I think that tall man is with the boy. He's a stranger, but he must be one too. Pause. They're both going for Mama Adissa. You'll see something you've never seen before today. Just watch. The rat has squatted behind her. Mother, shall I go for the police then? Shut up. But it's Mama Adissa. Shut up. I say, we can do nothing. Market size and sounds. Have you Sasorabia perfume? Yes, by the dozen. I also have all kinds of perfume, in fact, and they are the cheapest in the whole market. Here, the Sasorabia, pure undiluted. Smell. Opens one for Josiah, who scents it. Very, very good. This is exactly what I want. How much for one? I sell them for 25 shillings each. But since it's you, well, my firstborn is a boy. I leave it for you for 20 shillings. 15 shillings? Please don't be like that. You may never know how to price things. You cut 5 shillings off just like that, eh? Well, take it as a special concession for you. Because you're my first customer this morning. I'll wrap it up for you. Makes to wrap it. Not yet. I can only pay 13 shillings. Hey, listen, handsome young man. I can guess what you want it for. You want to prepare a love charm with it so you can charm any woman. Don't I know? Well, I tell you, it is more potent than anything I know. But in buying the ingredients for love charm, one must not be too tight-fisted. Gives a phony laugh. Well, I bless you, my man. Take it for 13 shillings, but don't spread the news. Thank you, but I want more than one. I'm a petty trader from a faraway village myself. Well, pick as many as you want and I'll make the addition. I want 2 dozen. But it will have to be at a rate of 10 shillings each. I will pay now if that's agreed. I can't catch that very well. Do you come here to buy perfume, or are you just wandering about the market? 10 shillings, he says. You realize that you are the first one to deal with me today? And that this is going to set the pattern for sales for me for the whole day? Please don't spoil my day. May the spirit of wealth abide with you. Take it at 12 shillings and I will sell only a dozen to you, because it is at a loss. No, I can't. You don't do business with me. I must go. You don't want to do business with me. I must go. I have other things to buy. Go? Go where? You call yourself a trader, and you behave like the firstborn of poverty itself. Early in the morning, you wretch with neck like a giraffe. You never intended to buy anything in the first place, you bastard. Profits and prosperity shall never come your way. Pause to herself. Oh, my creator, what have I done to deserve this? I performed all the rites before leaving home. I hope this trend of evil influence will not continue today. Pause. I'd better sort out the loose change. It is always dangerous to open one's money bag in front of customers. Feels her waist. Pause. Where is it? My money bag. All right, so that's the passage. That is the passage. A very interesting passage, quite humorous. And it follows the Jaguda boys. It follows a woman who gets scammed. It's a pretty interesting passage. So let's take a look at the first question here, number 11. So as usual, you can send your answers in the chat, and then I'll give you my suggested answer and explain. So number 11, that's where we are. The dramatic significance of the conversation between Mama Taiye and her son in lines 2 to 17 is that it does what? All right, so let's find those lines. All right, so here is the question. Number 11, the dramatic significance of the conversations And we're looking at lines 2 to 17 of the second passage. Lines 2 to 17. So I have the questions on the left and the passage on the right. This way we'll be able to see everything at once. Lines 2 to 17. So basically from here down to here. What is the dramatic significance? And remember, when we talk about dramatic significance, we're really talking about what does this do to enhance the drama? What effect does it have on the reader? And in the case of a play, the viewer. What is the dramatic significance? All right, I see 2 answers in so far. So I'll give you guys just a few more seconds to send in your answers. What is the dramatic significance here? Oh, it seems no one knows this one. I thought this one was easy. Number 12. All right, no answers. I guess this one is tough. I'm not sure why this one would be difficult, but I'm not seeing any answers coming in. Can't hear me? Oh, sorry about that. I might have lost audio for a moment. Can you hear me now? Is it fine? Sorry, we're looking at, my apologies, guys. We're looking at number 12. So please send in the answers for number 12. Thanks for telling me, Shamoy. If you guys can't hear or see me or something goes wrong, please let me know immediately so I can fix it. So now we're looking at 12. Which of the following devices is used in line 4? The rat that feeds in full view of the householder. All right, now I can see a couple of answers coming in on my side. See a couple of B's. Okay, so number 12 is pretty straightforward. This is obviously a metaphor because this person is being compared to a rat and it's a direct comparison. All right, pretty easy stuff. 13. From lines 6 to 13, from lines 6 to 10, 11, 12, 13. From lines 6 to 13, that small boy to behind her, the audience can infer that Mama Taiye what? So we're now at number 13. From line 6 to 13, what can we infer? Line 6 to 13, what can we infer? Oh, I'm seeing some conflicting answers already. Interesting. I see B, I see D. Seeing a lot of B's. All right, 13 is B. These lines tell us that Mama Taiye has had experience with the Jaguda boys. How do we know she has experience with them? We see here that I've seen him steal a machine. So she's telling us the experience she has with him. She has seen her do all of this while the owner wasn't looking, right? And yeah, she goes on to explain what the boys are going to do based on her experience. So she knows these thieves. She knows what they're capable of. All right, number 14. Which of the following words best describe the tone used by Mama Taiye? Is it Taiye? I'll say Taiye. When she says, small boy, I've seen him steal a machine with heavy iron stand while everyone but the owner was looking. So we're looking at lines 7 to 8 and lines 7 to 8. And what is the tone? What is the tone here? What tone are we seeing? Ironic and resigned, insolent and indifferent, admiring and apprehensive, sarcastic and contemptuous. And this one is tricky, so please be careful. This one is very tricky. Very, very tricky. Very, very tricky. Oh, wow. D. Interesting. See, 1A. 1A and many D's. I think the other English B teachers are going to beat me because maybe I'm the only one with this answer. I see one more A and another D. All right, so I'll have some explaining to do with my answer here because most of you guys have D, which actually this was my first thought. But let's take a second look here. Let's take a second look. Let's look at the context of what happens, and let's look at line 7 and 8. So Mama Taiye is saying, shush, here he comes. Taiye is wondering, so Taiye, I guess, is Mama Taiye's daughter or son. Who is coming? Mama Taiye is saying the nameless one, the rat that feeds in full view of the householder. So Mama Taiye knows what this boy is capable of, right? Mama Taiye knows that this is, look at this, the nameless one. It's almost as who do they call the nameless one? If you watch Harry Potter, I think it's Voldemort. He who must not be named. That's how they refer to him. It's like he's so powerful, he's so villainous that we can't even call his name. You understand? So that is kind of the tone Mama Taiye has here. It's not really respect, but it's kind of a kind of like wow, this is such a, he's so skillful at his craft that you would never believe it. And Taiye is incredulous. This little boy, how could he be as as great, as wicked, as skillful as you think. Look how small he is. And look at Mama Taiye's response. Small boy? So even though he looks small, even though you think he's incapable, it's quite the opposite. And then look at this. I've seen him steal a machine with heavy iron. So a machine with heavy iron. It's not as if this boy stole a pen or stole a purse. This guy stole something that it's almost impossible to steal such a big heavy machine with no one seeing. How could this small boy steal such a thing without having been seen or being caught by the owner? And look at this. Everyone but the owner was looking. So this thief, I wanted to see how skillful this thief is. And you're soon to why I pay attention to this. This thief is so skillful that he can steal something when everyone else is looking except the owner. So he basically has eyes in the back of his head. He's very skillful. Keep your eyes open. He's basically warning Taiye. If you blink, you're going to miss it. If you blink, he's going to steal you because he's really that good. So with all this in mind, how does Mama Taiye feel toward this boy? All right. So now that we have built the context a little bit, let's go back to the options we have here. What is the tone here? Is it sarcastic? Is it sarcastic? Actually, there is no sarcasm. There's no sarcasm here. Why is there no sarcasm? Sarcasm happens when someone is basically meaning the opposite of what they're saying. They're trying to mock or jeer somebody by saying the opposite of what they actually mean. Right? It's kind of an caustic, insulting kind of tone. But here, Mama Taiye is not being sarcastic because she's actually telling the truth and she's not trying to mock or insult anyone. Now, contemptuous, we could say contemptuous is okay because Mama Taiye, we could say, has some contempt. She really isn't feeling a very positive reaction. She's saying, well, this guy, he's a crook, he's a thief, he's a bastard. That is the kind of tone. But even though he's a thief and a crook and a bastard, there's some admiration because she's saying, I've seen this thief work. And believe me, he's the best of the best. No, my answer is actually A. A. And I'm going to tell you why. We see irony. We see resignation. So I said this is a tricky question because D jumps out as the correct answer, but you have to look even more deeply. So where's the irony in the tone? The irony is right here. Small boy. I've seen him steal a machine, something. This is ironic because no one would expect a small boy to be able to steal such a kind of machine. So there's no sarcasm there, but there's irony because we're seeing the opposite of what we would expect. What about resigned? First of all, what does it mean to have a resigned tone? It means you've basically given up. You're saying this is hopeless. There's just no way. And where is the resignation here? The resignation is in the fact that there is nothing anyone can do to stop this guy. So she has given up on basically figuring out or stopping this thief. Why is she giving up? Because look at how powerful he is. He could manage to steal this machine when everyone but the owner was looking. He's too skillful. And then look at this. We see more resignation as we go on. So sometimes even while you look at a particular line, you still can look at other lines in the passage to get a hint. Look at this now. Resignation. We're looking for resignation. You'll see something here you've never seen before. Basically, you're going to see a miracle happen. You're going to see the devil at work. There's nothing we can do about it. Shall we go for the police then? Shut up. The police cannot help us. This boy is too strong. If the police come, he will steal the police car. That is the tone. Yeah, we can do nothing. Resignation. So this, I think, is one of the trickier questions. I've seen many, answer keys, and I've heard teachers discuss and many say D is correct. But I think there is great evidence, great and overwhelming evidence to say that A is the correct answer. A. All right, A. Sorry for the scribbles, guys. I'm trying to figure out this little app that lets me draw on the screen. So yeah, 14A. I hope after the explanation, you guys agree that A is correct. So if you still think, does CSEC have an answer sheet? Oh, CSEC is not going to make it easy. CSEC leaves it up to us basically to decipher the answers, and that's why even amongst teachers, there are sometimes some questions that we can't really agree on, And so sometimes we have like teams of teachers coming together to work a paper. Yeah. So especially for paper ones, you will not really see official answer keys. Only for the specimen papers, I believe. So yeah, number 14, I believe, has to be A. Has to be A. Did I type the answer for 13 in the chat? I'm not sure. I'm trying to type as I go along, so if persons come in late, they can check the chat and see my suggested answers. All right, so 14A. Do we have any more questions on number 14? Does it look clear at this point? Does it look clear? I will not answer that question. You guys should be smarter than us, Yeah, man, you should be smart. Yeah. And this is why this is why I try to not just provide answers, but explain answers and provide justifications, because just swatting the answers from a paper one is not very useful. But if you can get a grasp of the techniques or what to look for, then that will help you even more than having an answer key. So just going around and finding answer keys, it doesn't make sense. It's better to spend 3 hours and really pencil out why is this A, why is this not B, and so on. So that's what I try to achieve in these lives. And so that's why I end up taking 3 hours to cover one paper, because it's not just about the right answer, but it's about understanding why that is the right answer. Because it's not as if you're going to be seeing the same questions on the exam necessarily. All right, number 15. The statement, they are both going for Mama, what's her name, Adisa, in line 11, suggests that the tall man and the boy, so we're looking at line 11. What does line 11 suggest? What does line 11 suggest? We're now at number 15. What does line 11 suggest? Even if the answers from you guys aren't popping up on the screen, I'm seeing the answers on my end here. All right, so I think there's no need to deliberate on this one. This one is it's a giveaway, actually. See, they have chosen Mama Adisa as their target. They're both going for Mama Adisa. So obviously, she is the target. She's the one who's going to be scammed at this point. 16, the purpose of Josiah's extensive haggling with Mama Adisa is mainly, when you see a word in all caps, it's important to realize that there might be more than one possible answer, but you're looking for the best, the number one answer. So what is the main purpose of the haggling? Haggling meaning the bargaining. We see where? From line 25, from about line 20 or earlier, that he's trying to like strike some kind of deal and get the perfumes for a lower cost. But what is the real intention behind the haggling? I'm seeing a mix of C's and B's, I think, from you guys. All right, so 16, B, to distract Mama Adisa. Yes, that's right. This guy had no intention of buying anything. He just wanted to prolong the conversation so that Mama Adisa could be in the position to be robbed. She could be distracted. So 16 has to be B. By the way, if I'm moving too quickly and there's an answer that I give that is unclear or you disagree, just stop me and I'll backtrack. In the meantime, let's jump to 17. Which of the following words best describe Mama Taiye and her son Taiye? Which of these words best describe the mother and son? So now we're at 17. So 15 was C, 16 was B. Okay, I think I'm seeing some B's and C's for number 17. Seeing some B's and C's. All right, so my answer here is B. Surprised and careful. Now, number 17 is a bit tricky because we're looking for words that describe two people. Oh, Lakeisha, you're late today. Thanks for coming in anyway. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, Lakeisha, spread the gospel message. All right, so 17, surprised and careful. We know that Mama Taiye is not surprised because she knows what's going on. She knows these thieves, but she's careful. Mama Taiye is careful, and Mama Taiye's son is surprised. Yeah, so surprised and careful for number 17. Alarmed, we could say that Taiye is alarmed, but neither of them is uninterested. So it couldn't be C. Indifferent is basically the same as uninterested here, and that is wrong. They're definitely not unconcerned. No one is pleased about what's going on. Fearful, maybe. But B, we have both words that are correct here. Surprised and careful. All right, 18. The irony used in lines 53 to 55. All right, let's find lines 53 to 55, 50. So somewhere around here. The irony used in these lines is effective because what? Why is the irony effective in these lines? So we're now at number. All right, so let me backtrack. So this is what I'm saying, guys. If you have a question, I can backtrack. But couldn't the fact that they did not call the police mean that they were uninterested? You're right on one count. They did not want to get involved, but they were not uninterested because they were watching the whole thing. They were basically watching, peeping, very much interested in seeing how this would play out. In fact, you could say that they didn't want to call the police because they wanted the show to go on. Yeah. So they didn't want to get involved. At least Mama Taiye didn't want to get involved. But you can't say that they were uninterested. All right, so now we're at 18. So the irony we're looking at here, I hope this trend of evil influence will not continue today. I better, where am I? I hope this trend of evil influence will not continue today. I better sort out the loose change. It is always dangerous. All right. So 18, I'm seeing D. Seeing D. So yeah, D. 18. D foreshadows Mama Adisa's discovery that she has been robbed. So at this point, she hasn't discovered that she has been robbed, but she's basically saying something that would hint that she's going to find out soon. That's where the foreshadowing comes in. So she's talking about a trend of evil influence. Of course, the evil influence that really happens is that she just got robbed. She's hoping it will not continue, but poor Mama Adisa doesn't realize that it has already continued. The real evil has happened. She has been robbed. And then she says, it is always dangerous to open one's money bag in front of customers, not knowing that the money bag is already gone. So it's kind of an ironic foreshadowing, a humorous foreshadowing as well. Yeah. All right. So 18, just to be clear, 18 is D. Let me put that in the chat. All right. I want to show the chat from you guys, but I think it makes the screen a bit too small since we're already looking at two windows here. All right, so we're on to number 19. Where's 19? Where's 19? Oh, here we are. Almost done with this passage. The playwright reveals that Mama Adisa's character, the playwright reveals Mama Adisa's character mainly through what? How does the playwright reveal Mama Adisa's character? So please send in your answers for 19. And this one is a dead giveaway. This one is a dead giveaway. There can only be one right answer. All right, so the playwright reveals her character through dialogue and action. Dialogue and action. Someone suggested D. So suspense and foreshadowing are in the text. So this is kind of a trick, but they are not used to tell us who Mama Adisa is. How do we know Mama Adisa's personality? How do we know what she's thinking? We know that through her words, the dialogue, and through her action, through what she does. That's how we know who she is. Props, this is complete madness. Nothing here gives away her character. And character setting, this doesn't have anything to do with her character. And while these are in the text, they do not reveal Mama Adisa's character. We're seeing action and dialogue telling us a lot about her. Yeah, so 19 has to be A. 20, the last question on this passage. Which of the following creates humor in the extract? Which of the following creates humor in the extract? Where do we find humor? So now we're at number 20. Please send in your answers for number 20. Where can we find some jokes? Where can we find some humor? Interesting. D and D. Wow. Interesting stuff. All right, I want to see some more answers before I give it away. Seems we'll have some conflict here. Where do we find humor? D, B. I'm seeing a battle between D and B. So it seems I'll have to explain my answer either way. See, B and D. All right, it seems to be a 50-50, a tie between B and D. Unfortunately, there can only be one answer. So, I'll admit my options were B and D. When I read this, and I spent no less than 20 minutes on this question. Is it D? Is it B? Where do we find humor? I know that it wouldn't be A. We find irony here. It's not A. The assumption that the small boy cannot be a thief isn't really humorous, but it presents an irony, and it presents the naivety of Taiye. Taiye doesn't know about the escapades, the scams that these small boys or this small boy had already been a part of, but Mama Taiye knows. But this isn't creating much humor in the text. This isn't creating much humor. It gives us an irony, but not much humor. And this is not funny at all. Refusal to call the police, I wouldn't say that's trying to give us humor. So we're left with either B or D. So Mama Adisa's lament that she experienced evil influence that morning, or Josiah's attempt to purchase the perfume for less than half of the original price. So both present some amount of humor. So it's just about which one did the playwright intend to be more humorous. What is the writer's intent? So let's take a look at the passage again and see which one is actually more humorous. Let's see. Where do we see some real humor? All right, so number 20. All right, let's look at D first. Over here, where does he start the bargaining? So the bargaining starts from basically from line 20. He's saying, do you have this kind of perfume? Mama Adisa says, yes, they're the cheapest, they're undiluted, they're high quality stuff. And Josiah says, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. He starts the bargain at 25 shillings. Mama Adisa starts it off at 25 shillings. And Josiah says, what about 15? Mama Adisa hesitates, but she says, all right, fine. Josiah bars down the price to 13. And eventually he tries to buy them for 10 shillings. So there is some humor here, because if I'm at a play and I'm seeing someone try to haggle the price down from 25 to 10 shillings, that's ridiculous. You want it for less than 50%, for less than half price. However, humor is not the main purpose of the haggling. The main purpose in terms of the dramatic effect might be to, of course, set up the stage for the conflict, set up the opportunity for the robbery to happen, and also create maybe a sense of frustration in the reader's mind. And also, there's an important device that's happening here, because we know that Josiah is a thief. Mama Adisa just thinks that he's trying to get a good price. So what's happening here is a case of dramatic irony, in that the readers know what is going on, the readers know what's about to happen. We can predict that she's going to get robbed, but the person in the play is clueless. So it's more of irony than humor. There is some humor, but irony is the main thing. Now let's look at D. By the way, if you haven't guessed it, my answer is sorry. So D is not necessarily humorous, or not extremely humorous. My answer is B, in case you haven't guessed it. So let's look at Mama Adisa's lament that she experienced evil influence and figure out why this is so funny. So here we look at the last part here. Ta, 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 ta. You never intended to buy anything. Okay, look at this. Oh my creator, what have I done to deserve this? By the way, when you're reading a play, try to imagine acting, because this doesn't belong on paper, this belongs on stage. And that might help you to figure out the dramatic effects and the intent of the writers and stuff like that. Okay, where am I? Oh my creator, what have I done to deserve this? I performed all the rites before leaving home. So we see here that Mama Adisa, I'm not sure what rites these are, but apparently she did some things so to prevent evil from coming upon her, to prevent herself from being robbed and scammed. And she says, I hope this trend of evil influence will not continue today. So the biggest joke in all of this is she thinks that the biggest evil, she thinks that her main problem is that somebody is trying to get perfumes for less than half price. But what is funny about it is that the biggest evil has already happened in front of her eyes, and she has not realized. So this is what the humor is all about here. She's saying, well, I hope that the evil does not happen throughout the day, and I hope that this is all I have to bear, not knowing that she just got robbed. That is the actual humor. So you can imagine being in the audience while this play is happening and seeing this person, basically saying, oh, I hope the evil doesn't continue. I hope I don't get robbed. I hope I have a good day of sales. While we are just watching Josiah take her purse without her recognizing. So that is what the humor is. And then what makes it even funnier is this. I better sort out the loose change. She's about to sort out the loose change that she still hasn't realized that was stolen from her just now. And then look at the biggest joke in all of this. It is always dangerous to open one's money bag in front of customers. Really, woman? You've already lost your money bag. What is dangerous is paying so much attention to somebody haggling with you that you're not focusing on your money bag. That is the real danger. So here, there's really a lot of humor built into this last paragraph. And for these reasons, 20B. 20B. So if you guys still disagree with me, for those who said D is more humorous, we can continue to have a chat about it. But for me, it has to be B. B is where the humor really is at the end here. So 20B. All right, let's move on. I think we're going on to the wicked passage now, the poem Elephant. Okay, who is excited about Elephant today? Some of you might not be so familiar with Elephant, but it's a poem that really created a kind of upset a few years ago. It's a poem that really confused the heck out of a lot of students in 2019. I don't think it's an extremely difficult poem, but I think if you miss, there's one particular thing in this poem, and if you miss that one detail, you're finished. If you miss that one detail, you will just not be able to answer anything on this poem. But once you notice that one detail that you're going to see shortly, you will realize that it's not a difficult poem, actually. Okay, I'll read the poem, and then we'll get into the questions and answers. Memory claims that in a jungle once, a great mother elephant, crazed with grief for her lost son, wrapped her trunk around a baobab tree and wrenched it free from its upside-down hold in the earth and trumpeted down the hole in the earth for her vanished one. Elephant, the lost, the cursed one, lumbers up from under the big trees in Queen Victoria's Park. This man, more pachyderm, than man, skin draped loose, grey, muddy as tarpaulin over swollen elephantitis limbs. He moves bent over, weighed by the bag of crosses over his shoulder. His lips drooped tubular. Small children appear and chant, "Elephant, elephant." He rears back on the huge hind legs, trumpeting. Threats of illegal surgery by a broken glass bottle. Death to small children who scatter before him like antelopes and elands, skittering across the asphalt heading home. Elephant, the loneliest one in all creation. Your friends, the night grazing mules, tethered by dark hills of coal in Mulling's grass yard. Poor elephant, always walking, hoping one day he would turn a corner and come upon a clearing familiar to long memory. Wide green space, baobab trees, and baobab trees. For there his mother and the great herds would be free. Okay, are you guys ready? And by the way, we have some footnotes here. I thought pachyderm was one of the footnotes. Yeah, so pachyderm here. Pachyderm, very large, thick-skinned, very large or thick-skinned mammal. Very large, thick-skinned mammal. And the other one should be baobab. It's an old tree with thick trunks. All right, so knowing the meanings for those words will help us in the poem. Okay, here we go. Let's put this on the left and this on the right. Okay. Oh, sorry, guys. Yes, so we have the passage here. Move it up a bit so my picture isn't in the way. All right, there we go. So we start from question 21. All right, question 21. The poet uses the first stanza primarily to do what? Let me see your answers. What does the poet use the first stanza to do? What does the poet use the first stanza to do? All right, C seems to be a clear winner, to introduce the idea of mother loss through the use of narrative. Yeah. And the others are really nonsense answers. Prepare the reader for the elephant's escape. That doesn't even happen. Underscore the parent-child relationship that exists in the jungle. Not really. And suggest metaphorically that the elephant is wild and uncontrollable. We see some wildness, but uncontrollable, yeah, not really. So it couldn't be A, couldn't be B, couldn't be D. The answer is C. So what I'll do, from lines 22, we'll get into some of the more controversial questions. So before I take those questions on, I'll just try to explain, kind of my understanding of what's going on in the poem in the first place, just so we're all on the same page. So I'll just do a quick analysis of the poem. So the title here, Elephant. We'll come back to the title in a few minutes. So memory claims that in a jungle once, a great mother elephant, crazed with grief for her lost son, wrapped her trunk around a baobab tree. So we see here in stanza 1, this is about a real elephant, the animal, a literal elephant. And this elephant is crazed with grief crazed with grief for her lost son. So she lost her son. Maybe the son ran away. Maybe the son died, was eaten, killed. We don't know, but she's experiencing grief for the lost son. So in grief, so she's grieving now. She's upset. The elephant. She wraps her trunk around a tree, and remember, this tree has a very thick bark. It's not the kind of tree you will find scattered about in towns and cities. It's a jungle tree apparently. So she wraps her trunk around the tree. She pulls it out of the ground. Maybe she's looking for her son. Maybe the son is down below. Maybe she's just so angry, so upset, and she's just taking it out on this tree. Whatever the case, stanza one is about a mother elephant who is experiencing loss and grief because she lost her son. Now, now we come to why the poem is titled Elephant. In stanzas 2 onward, so this is an animal here. In stanzas 2 and below, stanzas 2, 3, 4, the elephant mentioned is not an animal but a man. We see capital E, but of course this is the beginning of a sentence, so it would be capital anyway. So elephant, the lost, the cursed one. So this elephant, similarly to the son, we're going to see that there's a parallel, there's a comparison being made between the elephant in the beginning and the elephant throughout the rest of the poem. This elephant is also lost. Just as this mother lost her son, this person here, whose name or whose nickname is Elephant, is lost and is cursed. He lumbers up from under the big trees. So the poet is trying to kind of confuse us, maybe, or trying to, extend the metaphor of jungle and elephant and tree. But here's a big hint that this man is not in a jungle. The trees are in Victoria Park. This is a park, not a jungle. So this person, he perhaps lives in a park. Within this park, we have some trees. So this man, more pachyderm. So remember we saw the meaning for this? Basically, pachyderm can be used to describe an elephant. That kind of skin, pachyderm. So this man, here it becomes obvious. I've heard many persons say that the whole poem is about the animal, but clearly this is about a man. This man is more pachyderm than man. What does it mean? His skin does not look like the skin of a normal man. Why? Because he has elephantitis, which is a skin condition that I will not be showing images that might gross some people out, but you can research it. Elephantitis, it's a condition that really disfigures the skin, and you might end up looking like an elephant. So we see the swollen limbs. So this person who perhaps lives in the park, which means maybe he's a homeless man, he has elephantitis. So maybe this is the curse that was mentioned where? Here, the cursed one. He's cursed because he has this disease. And maybe because of this disease, maybe this is part of the reason why he's homeless. He moves bent over, weighted. So we see that he is kind of making heavy, sluggish movements because of how diseased he is. But what is he weighted by? He's weighted by the bag of crosses over his shoulder. So this is a metaphor because obviously he doesn't have a literal bag of crosses. So even though he's weighted down by his skin, he's also weighted down by the burdens, the curses, the tragedies of his life. And small children, as small children often do, are teasing the man. They call him Elephant. So that's why this poem is titled Elephant, because elephant is referring to the animal here, and it's also referring to the man's nickname. They call him Elephant. All right, let's move on to stanza 3. He rears back on his huge hind legs. So here, hind legs. Does a human have hind legs? No. Hind legs are like the back legs. Elephants have hind legs. So is this talking about the man or the elephant? Well, It's actually talking about the elephant. We know this for one because the elephant mentioned in the first stanza is not a male elephant, right? It's a mother elephant. So it couldn't be that elephant here. So we're still talking about the man. So hind legs here is used metaphorically, basically emphasizing the skin condition. He really looks like an elephant. And he's trumpeting threats of illegal surgery by broken glass bottle. So he's threatening to, I guess, stab or slice or hurt these kids with the maybe broken glass bottles scattered around the park. Yeah, scattered, and the children scatter before him. So the children, they're teasing him. He's getting upset and he's cursing at them, and they scatter. They run away. They're just kids being kids, very mean kids actually. And here again, elephant, the loneliest one in all creation. Your friends, the night grazing mules. So why is this man's friends the night grazing mules? There are a number of reasons why this could be so. For one, it might suggest that this man has no human friends. He's lonely because he has no person to interact with, no one to talk to, no, he has no family, no friends. So basically his friends are animals. Yeah? So this is really hinting even more that he's more like an animal than like a man. So his friends are the night grazing mules. So the mules, of course, are animals, and these are his friends. There are other reasons for this line, but I won't get into those because there are some more important things. Tethered or connected by dark hills of coal in Mullings Grass Yard. So Mullings is the name of a place, I suppose. Mullings Grass Yard is whatever area this park is in, or whatever area the mules are in. And this man is connected to the mules. He shares some kind of relationship with the mules because of this hill, the dark hills. So of course the mules are grazing at night, so the hills are literally dark. But the dark hills that this man is dealing with aren't necessarily the literal hills, but the dark hills might be like the problems, and similar to the crosses mentioned earlier on. Poor elephant, always walking. So here, finally we see elephant not at the beginning of a line, but it still keeps a capital E, which means it's the name of a person. Poor elephant, always walking, hoping one day he would turn a corner and come upon a clearing familiar to long memory. Wide green space and baobab trees. For there his mother and the great herds would be free. So the last line, the last stanza is a little tricky because again we're wondering, is this a man or is this an animal? So this elephant here, this man called elephant, he's hoping to he's hoping for a bright future. He's hoping to somehow escape this tragic situation. He's hoping to somehow escape the homelessness, maybe find a cure for his disease, maybe just turn a corner in a figurative sense, right? He's trying to turn a new leaf. He's just hoping that somehow his life will change for the better. So the clearing here that he wants to come up on is not the literal grassland. It's really just a new stage in life. He doesn't want to just live and die like this. He doesn't want this to be the end of him. But we have here mentioned again the green space. Why would this man, if he's a real human, be hoping to find this space here? The reason is the poet is continuing the comparison between this mother elephant and this man called elephant. What is the link? What is the comparison? This mother elephant lost her son, and she would hope to reunite with him. She would hope to find her son again. So we're not dealing with the mother elephant here. We're dealing with the man. The man is hoping to find some kind of reconnection. His mother here, perhaps this is the man's real mother. And of course, the great herds, it's kind of a reference to the, where is it? the grazing mules, but more importantly, the great herds and the green space and the clearing all represent the freedom that the man seeks. So he's not seeking literal trees and literal green space and literal herds. What he's actually seeking is freedom, freedom from homelessness, from chastisement, from elephantitis, and this freedom that he's seeking is is um is illustrated through the same imagery that the poem started out with. That's why we have all of this happening. So just to recap, we have a literal elephant here who lost her son, and here we have a man who has elephantitis, and his name is Elephant. And both of these characters are connected because they both experience some kind of loss or tragedy. All right. Is the poem clear? Does the poem now make sense? So let me just see your feedback on that before we tackle the questions. Does the poem now make sense? Or is it still a nonsensical poem? Are we seeing some kind of sense in this poem now? All right, I see one yes. Thank goodness. It makes sense to someone. All right. Are there any questions on any line of the poem? Any imagery, any metaphor? Questions about anything before we touch on the questions? All right. Someone says great analysis. Thank you so much. How kind. All right. So if there are no questions on the poem, now let's go to the questions. All right. You know what? The questions are really trying to be on the right. So let's take the questions on the right. So number 21 was C. Now let's check number 22. Lines 10 to 11. Lines 10 to 11. This man more pachyderm than man, skin draped loose, grey muddy as tarpaulin over swollen elephantitis limbs, are effective because of the what? So now we're looking at 22. Let's get an answer for 22. Number 22, you can send your answers in. What do you think is going on here? Number 22. Conflict already. My goodness. A and C. Wow, 3 different answers already. B, C, A. All right. My answer for number 22 is B. And for me, this one is a no-brainer. Not difficult at all for me. This man more pachyderm than man. Skin draped loose. So we're seeing some visual imagery here. Pachyderm. Skin draped loose. Visual imagery. And what does this imagery do? It reinforces that physically the man and elephant are alike. Yeah. And actually, elephantitis, we even have the word elephant in elephantitis because it's connected to elephant. You basically have elephant-like skin. Muddy as tarpaulin, gray. So lots of imagery, and the imagery is connecting the man to the elephant. So it has to be B. It could not be A. Why can't it be A? Because there's no simile. There's no simile here. No simile. Oh, I'm sorry. Muddy as tarpaulin is a simile. But it does not show the loneliness and isolation. So my bad. There is a simile, but the simile is actually showing the comparison between the man and the elephant, not the isolation and loneliness. Why couldn't it be C? Because it does not use all of the senses. We are appealing to the senses of sight and touch. There's no smell, no taste here, no hearing. It couldn't be D because nothing here is encouraging the reader to be afraid. Instead, we're actually being encouraged to sympathize with the man. So 22, B. I'll be moving a little bit faster from here on out. So if you guys have questions, just stop me in my tracks and I'll address the concerns. 23. What impression is created by he rears back on his huge hind leg trumpeting? Line 15. What is the impression created by this line? What is the impression created by this line? Number 23. All right, so one answer thus far. See D, I see C. We're at 23. What is the impression created by this line? He rears back. All right, so let's take a look at what this line is saying so we can find out what the impression is. He rears back. He rears back on his huge hind legs. He does not have hind legs. He's a man. A human being does not have hind legs. So what is the purpose? What is the purpose of that? Trumpeting. Trumpeting. First of all, trumpeting brings to mind the image of the elephant's trunk. Second of all, it shows how loud this man is. All right, so he's trumping and he has hind legs. So let's see, could it be a diseased elephant whose legs are swollen? Nope, because we're talking about a man. The image of an elephant that roams the city? Nope, because we're talking about a man. See, the image of elephant, the man who transforms into an elephant by his size and his voice. Yes. C. He transforms into the elephant by his size. We see the huge hind leg. And his voice, we see the trumpeting. Size, voice. Size, voice. And he does not literally transform into an elephant. He doesn't become an actual elephant. But the transformation is really by his size and voice. So his size is compared to the elephant. His voice is compared to the elephant. Couldn't be D because we're talking about a man, not the elephant. So it's actually a giveaway because the only answer here that talks about a man is C. So it has to be C. All right. I see no questions, so I can jump along to 24. 24, where are you? Lines 17 to 18 scatter before him like antelopes and elands. Are effective because they what? So line 24, let me see your answers for line 24. For number 24. Number 24. All right, I'm seeing C, I'm seeing D. My answer for number 24, D. Solidify the imagery of both the jungle and the urban setting. Yeah. And 17 and 18, and yeah, okay, I'm seeing only D. So maybe no explanation is necessary there. All right, 25. Which of the following is not a figurative device? Which of the following is not a figurative device? We're now at 25. So 24's answer was D. We're on to 25. Which of the following is not a figurative device? So send in the answers. I'll show you guys his answers on the screen. 25. Seeing A. Click it. Oh, no. Okay, 25 seems to be another easy one. It's A. This is not a literary device, not a figurative device. The elephant in line 5 actually wrenches the tree free. Everything else is a device weighted by the bag of crosses, metaphor. Rears back on his huge hind legs, metaphor. Skittering across the asphalt. Where is that? Line 18. Yeah. All metaphors here. But A is not a device. 26. Which of the following best describes the speaker's attitude to elephant? This question is tough. It's a tough question. It's a tough question. Do your best. The speaker's attitude. I see 2 Ds so far. Speaker's attitude. Did I say this one was difficult? I was joking. Easy. Definitely D. Sympathetic and sorrowful. We are made to feel sorry for the elephant throughout the passage. It can't be nonchalant and aloof, because if we're feeling sorry for the elephant, we see all this language and all this sadness, then it couldn't be nonchalant and aloof, because these mean there's no real emotion. Hopeful, there's no hope. This doesn't even make sense. Reproachful, maybe. Reflective, maybe. But neither of these is really a very strong attitude. These are very strong attitudes. Reproachful, I'm not sure if the speaker is really reproachful, but reflective, maybe. But D has 2 correct answers. So it has to be D. 26D. I think someone mentioned something before. Let's see. What is it? So could it be that the reason that the man doesn't have friends or normal due to his elephantitis is because people don't have friends due to something? Yeah, pretty much. That is kind of one of the messages in this poem, Coffee, that sometimes things outside of our control kind of, dictate how people respond to us. Maybe the man really doesn't have any control over his condition, but look at what it causes in his life. All right, 27. The best example of the poet's use of contrast in this poem is the... So now we're on to 27. We're looking at the best use of contrast in the poem. Contrast. Give you guys 10 more seconds to give me your answers for 27. Come on, guys. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of this question. It's a tough question, but you can do it. You can do it. Where do we see contrast? Wow, I'm seeing A, I'm seeing D. Interesting. Wow, it's interesting. D, B, D, 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 A. Whoa. Some of you guys aren't going to believe this. My answer, A. Shift from the baobab tree in the jungle to the big trees in a park in the city. Okay, first of all, where's the contrast in all of this? Remember, the contrast is distinct difference between two sceneries, two images, two ideas. So in the jungle, we have here, in the jungle, we have the big trees, the big baobab trees. And we saw in the footnotes that this is a tree with a very big bark. But then we move to some different kinds of big trees that are in the park. And the real contrast comes in, not due to the trees, but because of the change in setting. We have jungle, we have city, JC, that is not Jamaica College. We have jungle, we have city. That's a contrast. Those are basically opposite scenes. Jungle scene, city scene. Now let's look at why B, C, and D are all incorrect. The size of the elephant in the jungle and the swollen limbs. Wrong. Why is this wrong? Because this is not a contrast. These are similar images. So it's a parallel, not a contrast. C, differentiation between the homeless man and the elephant. No contrast. There's no opposite between the homeless man and the elephant. In fact, there's a similarity. D, suggestion of the difference between the elephant in the jungle and the man. No. The poem is saying there's basically no difference. There's a similarity. So A is the only real contrast in the poem because we jump from jungle to city. All right, I think that's clear. Let's go on to 28. Where's 28? 28. So 27 is A. All right, 28. Which of the following is used as a symbol? Something in line 13, line 16, line 20, line 26. Where do we find a symbol here? Okay, I'm seeing C and D so far from you guys. Interesting. Where do we see something that is representing something else? Something that has a bigger meaning than itself? I know those of you guys who have watched my poetry analysis videos will not be asking what a symbol is. I know that for a fact. All right, 28. Let's look at each of these. His lips drooped tubular in line 13. He moves bent over, weighted by the bag of crosses. Lips drooped tubula. This is not a symbol because his lips are actually drooping. Remember, he has elephantitis. So this is not symbolic. Cannot be A. What about B? Threats of illegal surgery by broken glass. And actually, he is threatening the kids. These are literal threats, so not B. Tethered by dark hills of coal. This is metaphorical, but I wouldn't say it's symbolic, so it's a close one. But D is where we have the symbol. His mother and the great herds would be free. Why is it symbolic? Because this is tying into this stanza. Obviously, the man here is not. Let's put it this way: the freedom, the great herds, and even the search for his mother. These are really symbolic. He's not literally searching for his mother and the great herds. And the mother and the great herds would be free. What does this mean? It really speaks to the sense of freedom that he is seeking, the hope that he wants. So the symbol here is tying into the first stanza. Does that make sense? Somehow I feel as if I didn't explain it properly, but this is D. And it couldn't really be anything else. Maybe C is not such a bad guess, but D is where we have symbolism in this poem. Yeah. There his mother and the great herds would be. The man named Elephant, his mother, his literal mother and the great herds wouldn't be there. But what would be there, what would be in the green space is the freedom he's searching for. So the freedom is what is being symbolized. His quest for freedom is what is being symbolized. All right, let's jump down to 29. The final stanza functions as an effective ending to the poem because what? So why is this an effective ending to the poem? Could he be represented as broken glass? What does this question mean? Could he be represented as broken glass? Oh, you mean for B here? Let's see. Threats of legal surgery. Well, I don't think the broken glass here would refer to the man because he's threatening to hurt the children with the broken glass bottle. So it would be a bit of a stretch. It's not impossible to interpret it in that way, but the D is just such a clear answer that you would have to choose D in the exam. Yeah, so 28D. All right, so we're on to 29. I see 2 answers coming in for 29 so far. I see some B's, but is B correct? I see some B's. B. Wow. Are you guys sure? This might be the most difficult question on this entire paper. Because there are 2 answers that really look good. But there's one answer that is the best. All right, 29. Poor elephant, always walking, hoping one day he would turn a corner and come upon a clearing familiar to long memory. Wide green space and baobab trees, for there his mother and the great herds would be free. What is going on in this stanza, guys? What is going on in this stanza? Okay, let's eliminate the answers that are obviously wrong. A is clearly wrong. Concentrates mainly on the speaker's attitude? No. Just no. This line does not concentrate mainly on the speaker's attitude. That's as simple as it gets. B, C, D. There are two answers that are close. There's one more answer that is way out. C is way out. Elephant suggests that elephant will no longer suffer from memory loss and anxiety. Who said anything about memory loss and anxiety? That is just ridiculous. CSEC giving us easy eliminations. So it's down to B and D. And to be honest, I was on the fence for this one. I read the poem several times. I read the last stanza. I dreamt about the last stanza. I looked as deeply as I could to see what is really the ending here. What is the effect of this ending? So let's look at B and then we'll look at D. Gives the promise of a reunion to those who suffer loss. This was my initial response. Poor elephant, always walking, hoping. I think this is a key word. Hoping one day he would turn a corner. Another key phrase, would be free. You know what this hoping and would be means? It means there's no promise. It does not promise. It does not promise any reunion to anyone who suffers loss. It does not make that promise. It does not make that promise. Do we see that? What we see here is this man is just hoping. So remember, now we're looking at why is this an effective ending? What is the meaning of the ending? The meaning is not that if you suffer loss, you will have a reunion. You will find freedom. You will get hope. You will recover. No. This is only, look at it. It says poor elephant. It's not as if it's the elephant finally overcoming or finding his way back home. Poor elephant, always walking, hoping one day. So even at the end of the poem, he's still searching, he's still hoping, praying. Yeah? He's still hoping and praying. What he's doing, what this is doing is it's saying this man will always be the lost son who pines for his mother. Now, is he literally pining for his mother? Is he literally a lost son? I can't tell you that. This answer might be referring to the symbolism, the parallel here between the mother elephant and the man the elephant. But what I can tell you for sure is that there is no promise of hope. There is no promise of reuniting, so it cannot be B. Poor elephant, always walking, hoping one day he would turn a corner. It didn't say one day he will turn a corner. He's always hoping. So my answer is D. And believe me, if your answer is B, I can't really blame you too much. I won't say it's a bad choice, but I chose to go with D because I don't see a promise in the last stanza. There's just no promise based on my reading of the poem. If you can show me a promise, if you guys can show me a promise right now in the chat, I'll take back my answer. I will switch my answer if you can show me a promise. If you can show me where the poem suggests that elephant or anybody else who suffers loss will find that reunion, show it to me because I don't see it. I only see somebody hoping for a reunion. I see someone just hoping and praying, pining. That's what I see. This is a tough question, guys. Very tough question. And I've heard teachers give very different answers and explanations. Someone asked if teachers can't agree on the answers, what should students do? Yeah, I can't answer that one. All right, last one on elephant. The title elephant is appropriate because what? Why is the title elephant appropriate? And this one is easy. So after a super hard question, they give us a super easy question. Yes, Gray. Promise is a key word here. Key word. And there is no promise. There is no promise. So we're at 30. Let me see what you guys think for 30. Why is elephant an appropriate title? And based on the discussion of the previous questions, this one should be super duper easy. Super easy, super easy. Has to be D. The mother elephant becomes the symbol of another kind of loss and separation. Yeah. Let's look at how ridiculous the other options are. As a single word, the title is appealing to readers, especially animal lovers. Nonsense. This title is not appealing to me. The sound of the word gives the poem a lilting effect. What makes it easier to understand? Come on, total madness. The poem speaks about the ordeal of a mother elephant in the jungle who finally she does not rejoin her son. So it has to be D. All right, guys, we did elephant. Let's go home. That's it. Thanks for joining. I'm joking. We'll finish the paper. Let's finish this paper. All right, so that's elephant. Done with elephant. And now we move on to, ooh, lucky us. Look at this poem. Look at this poem. Look at this poem. Woo. Guys, we did this poem last time. You know what this means? So remember the first passage of the poem, we did this poem last time, right? Somebody just confirm. I'm not insane. We did this poem last time. Yeah. We did this poem last time, didn't we? Let me double check the 2018 paper. I'm pretty sure we did this poem in the 2018 paper. Yeah, someone said yes, we did. So look at this now, guys. This passage is repeated. Tolroy is repeated, right? And then we come down here. Yeah. So we have two whole passages repeated. So this is one of the reasons why it's so important to really grind through these past papers, because you might very well see a repeated passage or even more than one. And actually the questions are repeated too. Not just the passage, but the actual questions. The actual questions. So what I'll do, just as I did with the first passage, I'll just give you guys the answers here for those who are trying to, make an answer key or something. So 31, if you want to see the explanation for these answers, then watch the previous live. Netflix, are you just coming in? Wake up late. So 31, C. 32, C. So this is just for you guys who need to write down these answers. 31, C. 32, C. 33A. P. That's P. 35A. 36 C. 37 D. 38A. 39 C. 40 D. So yeah, we already did this paper, so I'm just listing out the answers so you guys can write the answers down if you need to. Yeah, that's basically what's happening there. So let's move on to the next new passage. Oh wow, this is a long one, isn't it? Netflix, you missed the elephant passage, so you're gonna have to rewatch the first part of this live, because the elephant poem is quite a tricky poem. And who knows if it's gonna show up on the on this year's paper. Anything is possible with CSEC. All right. Last time you guys wanted me to read, so I'm gonna read instead of asking you to read for yourselves, so you can just follow along. Let's make this as big as possible. Oh, it doesn't fit. Yikes. All right, here we go. The faces at the grilled windows of the parish almshouse were looking out on this hot Sunday afternoon on a world of grey flannel and cricket, a different world as they had looked every morning from the long imprisonment of the wards. Something in those faces told me they were all going to die in that almshouse. Standing on the cricket field, I searched for the face of my father. It is not cricket, it is leaving the island that makes me think about my father. I am leaving the island. And as I walk into the driveway of the almshouse, I know it is too late now to think of saving him. It is too late to become involved with this dying man. You wasn't coming to visit this poor man, this poor father you weren't. It is Miss Brewster. Brewster? It is Miss Brewster, the head nurse. She knew that I played cricket every Saturday on the field across the world from the almshouse. Very interesting line, across the world. She herself resembles a half-dead, dried-out flying fish, wrapped in the grease-proof paper of her nurse's uniform. Every day he asking for you, all the time, day in, day out. All you is such a poor, great, high school educated bastard that acting too proud to come in here because it is an almshouse and not a private ward to see your own father. She was now leading me through rows of men lying like soldiers on a battlefield. I tried to avoid their eyes. I'm frightened, but I'm leaving. I find myself thinking about the trimmed sandwiches and the whiskey and sodas waiting for me at the farewell party in honor of my leaving. I thought of Cynthia. I thought of her beautiful face, and I tried to hold her face in the hands of my mind. And I squeezed it close to me and kept myself alive with the living outside world of cricket and cheers and tea in the pavilion. Throughout the laughter and farewell speeches and the drinks that afternoon, all I did hear was the slamming of many heavy oak doors of the rectory when I went in to ask the canon to bury the pauper. And I tried to prevent the slamming from telling me what it was telling me, that I was out of place here. And when the party was over, Cynthia was with me on Gravesend Beach. And the beach was full of moonlight and love. Write me every day of the week, every week of the year, and think of me always. And don't forget to write love poems like the ones you write in the college magazine. I have to tell father, I have to tell him I love you and that we are getting married when you graduate. And all the time Cynthia chattering, but we should have gotten married, even secretly, and eloped somewhere. Father won't have liked it, but we would have been married. Cynthia, darling, my old man is dying right now. Are you kidding? I didn't even know you had an old man. And she laughs. I was at the almshouse today before the party. Is he really in the almshouse? You must be joking. She turned her back to me and her face to the sea. You aren't pulling my leg, eh? And before I could tell her about my father, who he was, how kind he was, she was walking from me, and we were in her father's Jaguar and speeding away from the beach. And the next day, I am sitting in the Sewell Airport terminal, waiting to be called to board the plane. And I am thinking now of Cynthia, who promised. I promise. Man, you think I'm going to let you leave this place, leave Barbados, and I'm not going to be there at the airport to come to take a photograph waving goodbye from the terminal and to get her photograph taken for the social column. The plane is ready now, and Cynthia is not coming through the car park in her father's Jaguar. She has not come as promised, and I am leaving the island. All right. Thank you for that reminder. So here we are. Have the passage on the left. Can we see the entire passage at once? No. If I make it a little smaller, but no, it's too small, isn't it? Okay, maybe we don't need the entire passage at once. 41. The effect of learning that the narrator rarely visited his father, even though he played cricket every Saturday on the field across the world from the almshouse, is that it does what? So 41, let me hear your thoughts on 41. We're focusing on line 9. Okay, everyone so far has the correct answer. 41. That's got to be C. It reinforces the narrator's disconnect from his father. And how does it reinforce the disconnect? Because he's right there. It's easy to physically go to where his father is, but even though it's so easy to reach his father, because of how disconnected they are, he doesn't. Yeah. Simple question. 42. What figurative device is used in the description of Miss Brewster as a half-dead, dried-out flying fish wrapped in the grease-proof paper of her nurse's uniform? What a roast. What is the figurative device used in this description? Lines 10 and 11. So we're doing 42. All right, 42, it has to be a metaphor. 42C. Very easy. Miss Brewster is a something else. Saying that one thing is something else is a metaphor. No as or like, no simile, no contrast. We don't see two opposite things. Definitely no personification. So C. 42 has to be C. 43. In the extract, the writer's use of the first person narration best allows the 43. What do you guys think about 43? '43. Guys, are we nervous about 43? I'm not seeing any attempts. Rachel, are you kidding me? Rachel, you have what? Rachel, let's chat after the live. Or if you're willing to, you could add them to, I'm not sure if you want to do that, but since you mentioned this in the chat, I guess you are willing to just put them in a Google Drive folder and send us a link. Yeah, Rachel, that would be good news for everyone. Thanks for being so generous. Thank you, Rachel. You're a hero, superhero. Yeah. Nice. I might be missing one of these. I don't think I have a 2021 paper. All right, 43A. 43A. The use of the first person narration using I. It allows the narrator to tell us what he's thinking. It doesn't do anything for the secondary characters because, or the actions, because the first person narration has nothing to do with the other characters' actions. So it couldn't be B. C is total nonsense, and D is total nonsense. So it has to be A. 44. The protagonist exists in a world where he is. We're at 44. And 44 is a bit tricky. So pay attention. How would you get the answers? Well, I haven't even looked at all of these papers. So I guess if you want answers from me, I'd have to work the papers. I worked 2019, May 2018. We did that last time. We're now doing May 2019. I'm also in the process of working January 2020 and May 2020. So even if I'm not able to do videos or lives on those, I'll let you guys know my answer key. Sharing is caring, yeah. So if I work on answer key, I'll let you guys know, either in a live, a video, or something else, community post. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so you don't miss the resources. All right, we're at 44. 44A. Someone says A, someone says B. All right, 44 is B. He's an ungrateful person who straddles two worlds. So he's basically not really living a double life, but he's a part of two worlds. He's kind of back and forth between two worlds, and he's an ingrate. This is the key. How do we know that he's ungrateful? How do you know that he's an ingrate? Let's check for evidence. Ingrate. We see here, he does not visit his father, who is in the almshouse. He doesn't visit his father even though he's right across the road. That's the action of an ungrateful child, right? But it doesn't end there. We see here that even Miss Brewster is calling him an ungrateful bastard, basically. He's too proud to come in here. He has too much pride because he's straddling two worlds, which means even though his father is in the almshouse, he's kind of in the money club, the big league now, playing cricket, parring, he's moving he's rolling with the rich kids. And so he's ungrateful. He doesn't want to. Okay, I'll get back to your question in a second, Chef. So yeah, he's ungrateful. We see here that the father is constantly asking for his son to come visit. All right, how else do we know that he's ungrateful? The most important evidence. Ooh, there we go. And before I could tell her about my father, who he was, how kind he was. So his father was kind, at least to the speaker. So imagine your father, who is good to you, gets locked up, and you're too ungrateful to go and visit him. Yeah, that's ungrateful right there. So he's an ingrate. I will know that he straddles two worlds because we explained that already. So it has to be B. Has to be B. 45. What does the narrator learn in the course of the extract? This is a question that took me about 45 minutes to answer, because there are two answers that are very close. Let me see what you guys think. What does the narrator learn in the course of the extract. All right, we see D coming in. How old is he? How old is who? Who are you talking about? We don't know how old anyone is in the extract. Only one person is attempting this question. All right, we see D, we see A. Yeah, it's quite a tricky one. It's quite a tricky one. Obviously, B is crazy, but is it A, C, or D? I think the narrator learns that promises easily made in love are just as easily broken. Now, this is a tricky one because this A here, it doesn't relate to most of the extract, but it comes in at the end of the extract. So D is kind of out. D is kind of out. Success demands sacrifice and blah blah blah. But C, why not C? The trappings of success do not exempt him from discrimination. I think throughout the passage, we are not really seeing much discrimination. We're not seeing much discrimination here. Let's kind of look briefly at each paragraph. So here we see that he's a cricketer. His father is in prison. No discrimination here. We see that he finally comes to visit his father, or he's talking to the nurse. His father, I suppose, is dead now, so he didn't visit his father at all, or is dying rather. And so he shows up, and the nurse is saying, you ungrateful bastard, he's here, poor old man, asking for you, begging for you. But we're not seeing any discrimination here against the speaker. No. Here we see that there are farewell speeches and drinks, so he's at some kind of farewell party. He's going to leave the island, and some people are having a party for him. Okay. No, here is a little bit shaky. We see that he went to the canon, so basically the church people, and I guess he's asking them to bury the papa, the old man, but they slammed the door on him because he was out of place. So they did not want to bury that man. The rest of the poem doesn't feature any discrimination. The only other slight discrimination we could say is that Cynthia eventually turns her back on the speaker. But is it because is it a discriminatory decision? Maybe not. Maybe Cynthia just she could be upset that he's just bringing this up. Discrimination might be a thing that happens, but let's look at the question and look at why it's not the best answer. What does he learn in the course of the extract? Promises easily made in love are just as easily broken. There is strong evidence for this answer. So for the discrimination, you might be able to find something, but which evidence is stronger? Let's look from here. From here on. Right. Write me every day. Blah, 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 blah. So we have here Cynthia basically talking to the speaker, just chattering, rambling on, talking about, future plans. We're getting married. Let's tell father, all that stuff. And then my guy brings up the fact that his old man is dying. And more importantly, he's at the almshouse. All right. So Cynthia lashes out. He must be joking. She turns her back to me. And this is kind of symbolic because maybe literally she turns her back, but she also turns her back to him in a deeper sense. But look at what happens when she finds out who his father is. The next day, I am sitting at the Sewell Airport terminal, waiting to be called to board the plane. And I am thinking no. So we're getting to what the speaker learns. I'm thinking now of Cynthia who promised. So his girlfriend promised him, and look at this, I promise, I promise, I promise. So this is basically what he's getting at the end. He's just replaying how much this girl promised him all of these things. Man, and he's basically remembering what she promised. Man, you think I'm going to let you leave this place, leave Barbados, and I'm not going to be there at the airport? So she promised to be here at the airport with him. She promised that. She promised that, of course, they were in love, they were probably in a good mood. She made this promise. She promised to take a photograph with him. Yeah. But no, at the very end, what happens? The plane is ready, the speaker is about to move, and Cynthia is not coming through the car park. She has not come. She has not come as she promised. Guys, I cannot see clearer evidence than this. If you can find evidence that is more clear cut than this, let me know and I'll change my answer. What does he learn? Promises. Yes, sorry, I keep saying, my goodness, I keep saying prison, but arms house is quite different. It more likely refers to like a poorhouse, put it that way. Poorhouse. Not a prison. So sorry, I don't know why I kept making that mistake. Must have been thinking of a different passage. So the same connotation is there of, he wants to disassociate with a person like that because it's, I guess, bad first image. Can we take a short break? All right. Why don't we blaze through to question 50 and then take a break and then finish up? Can we do that? Let's blaze through to question 50. So yeah, I think he learns at the end that promises can basically be broken quite easily. We see that his girlfriend has disappointed him. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. The arms house isn't referring to a prison, as I said prison a few times. The man is not a criminal. It refers to the poorhouse. Poorhouse. So the speaker does not want to associate with his father because his father is in the poorhouse. All right, let's blaze through to 50 and then take a short break. What effect does the narrator achieve by repeating references to leaving the island? 46. Also a tricky question. What effect does the writer achieve? All right, we're moving quickly. I think it's all of these. The journey motif is reinforced. We see this theme of journeying, moving from one world or one aspect of life to the next. The speaker wants to move from where he is to a different place in life. So we see that the journey motif is reinforced. There's a lot of talk of moving on, stuff like that. Precisely, chef. This is exactly it. That's exactly it. So guys, read that comment. And his need to escape the island is highlighted, of course. His need to escape the island is highlighted. He really needs to escape because in his mind, it's like his way to escaping his past or escaping his association with poverty and stuff like that. And the determined finality of his decision is emphasized. So he's basically saying, I am leaving no matter what. I'm definitely leaving. So 46D. 46D. We're moving quickly so we can take a short break. 47. Which of the following statements best expresses the theme of the extract? I'm not even gonna hold up. 47. Which of the following statements best expresses the theme of the extract? B. Love is complex and restricted by social barriers. We see that love is complicated. We see the complication in his and Cynthia's love, and also in the love that he might share with his father. The social barriers, maybe Cynthia loves the speaker, but she basically can't afford to associate with him or doesn't want to associate with him because of the social barrier, the social implication. You know, this whole rich versus poor, the classism and stuff like that. And the speaker might love his father, but the social barrier is that, you know, he's trying to move up in life. So he doesn't want to continue to associate with poverty. All right, we see nothing about obsession here, unrequited love. There's no evidence to say it almost always ends in betrayal. This person's love might have ended in a kind of betrayal, but we can't say almost always because we don't have many examples in the passage. 48. Which of the following is the most effective symbol of wealth, status, and aspiration in the passage? 48. C. The father's jaguar. Yeah? Symbolizes his wealth. He's a rich man, isn't he? 49. The climax of the extract occurs where? The climax of the extract. Climax occurs. I'm moving fast, guys. Hope you can keep up. A. The beach. It occurs at the beach because this is where. Sir, I don't see me 2019 in the folder. Oh, sorry guys. You don't? Okay, I'm gonna send you this paper or something like that. But for now, let's just work with the screen. Maybe in the break, I'll update the folder. So 49A, on the beach is where the speaker reveals that his father is in the poorhouse. I almost said prison again. His father is in the poorhouse. And so that's where Cynthia basically betrays the speaker, says, you know, I'm turning my back on you. I can't associate anymore. That's the climax. That's where the story comes to a bump. Yeah. 50. The effect of the repetition in the final scene best implies that the narrator. We see the repetition in the promise, 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 right, right, right. What is the effect of this repetition? After this question, we'll take a break. 50B. Obviously, the speaker is showing how betrayed he feels by the lies he has been told. And this actually ties into this answer here for number 50 ties into here, the answer for 45. Two different questions that are basically targeting the same information in the text. All right, are we ready? Let's get going. Green blazer. Let's go. The green blazer stood out under the bright sun and blue sky. Ooh, we have to chat. Sounds interesting. All right, passage. The green blazer stood out under the bright sun and blue sky. In all that jostling crowd, one could not help noticing it. The babble of the marketplace was there, but above it all, the green blazer seemed to cry out an invitation. Raju could not ignore it. It was not in his nature to ignore such a persistent invitation. He sat on a stack of cast-off banana stalks beside a shop awning and watched the crowd. When he watched a crowd, he did it with concentration. Constitutionally, he was an idler and had just the amount of energy to watch in a crowd and put his hand into another person's pocket. Sorry guys, the text is a little small on my screen. Do my best to make it. Yeah. It was a gamble, of course. So please read along with me in case I miss lines or anything like that. Sometimes he got nothing out of a venture. Sometimes he picked up a fountain pen. What Raju loved most was a nice, bulging purse. If he saw one, he picked it up with the greatest deftness. He took the cash in it, flung it far away, and went home with the satisfaction that he had done his day's job well. He bought sweets, books, and slates for his children, and occasionally a jacket piece for his wife, too. Raju jumped down from the banana stalk and followed the green blazer, always keeping himself 3 steps behind. Raju waited patiently, pretending to be examining some rolls of rush mat, while the green blazer spent a considerable length of time drinking a coconut at a nearby booth. Raju saw the other take out his black purse and start a debate with the coconut seller over the price of coconuts. He had a thick, sawing voice which disconcerted Raju. It sounded like the growl of a tiger. The way the other haggled didn't appeal to Raju either. It showed a man, it showed a mean and petty temperament. Too much fondness for money. The green blazer stopped before a stall flying before. Oh geez, I'm sleeping. The green blazer stopped before a stall flying colored balloons. He bought a balloon after an endless argument with the shopman, a further demonstration of his meanness. He said, "This is for a motherless boy. I have promised it to him. If it bursts or gets lost before I go home, he will cry all night." Raju got his chance when the other passed through a narrow stile where people were passing to see a wax model of Mahatma Gandhi reading a newspaper. 50 minutes later, Raju was examining the contents of the purse. He went away to a secluded spot behind a disused well. The purse contained 10 rupees in coins and 20 in currency notes and a few annas in nickels. Raju tucked the annas at his waist in his loincloth. Must give them to some beggars, he reflected generously. Now the purse lay limp within the hollow of his hand. It was only left for him to fling it into the well. The well had a little shallow water at the bottom. The purse might float, and a floating purse could cause the worst troubles on earth. He opened the purse in order to fill it with pebbles before drowning it. Now, through the slit at its side, he saw a balloon folded and tucked away. He remembered the others' talk about the motherless child. What a fool to keep this in the purse, Raju reflected. It is the carelessness of parents that makes young ones suffer. He ruminated angrily. Raju almost sobbed at the thought of the disappointed child. The motherless boy must have his balloon at any cost, Raju decided. But how? The balloon could not be handed back. The thing to do would be to put it back into the empty purse and slip it into the other's pocket. The green blazer was watching the heckling going on as the Bible preacher warmed up to his subject. Raju's what's this? Raju sidled up to the green blazer. The purse with the balloon only tucked into it was in his palm. He'd slip it back into the other's pocket. Raju realized his mistake in a moment. The green blazer caught hold of his arm and cried, "Pickpocket!" The hecklers lost interest in the Bible and turned their attention to Raju, who tried to look appropriately outraged. He cried, "Let me go!" The other, without giving a clue to what he proposed, shot out his arm and hit him on the cheek. It almost blinded him. All right, so pretty fun passage. Good job, CSEC. Fun passage here. All right, 51. Send your answers in the chat. The function of the setting in this extract is to. The function of the setting, we see the setting, this whole marketplace and crowd and all of this. What is the function of the setting? Remember, we're moving quickly. We're going to end the stream in a couple of minutes. So let's finish up before we hit the 3-hour mark and people start falling asleep. So 51. Still waiting to see your answers. What is the function of the setting in the extract? All right, the answer is D. Show that physical and social circumstances influences action, character, and conflict. Of course, the entire plot is driven by the setting, by the crowd being present, by the blazer being there, by the marketplace. All of this sets up the stage and creates opportunity for this, for everything to happen. So that's what the setting does in this country, in this extract. All right, 52. The best explanation for the inclusion of Raju bought sweets, books, and slates for his children and occasionally a jacket piece for his wife too. Lines 11 to 12 is to do what? Oops, sorry. So let me just find the extract down here. We're looking at lines 11 to 12. Here, Raju bought all these things. Oh no. Raju bought all these things. Why would the writer include that he bought all of these things? Why? Okay, the answer has to be B. Has to be B. Has to be B. Reveal character and give information. So now we know that Raju has a wife. We know that he's stealing to take care of his family. We know that even though it's a thief, he's not really a mean person. All right. 53. Oops, wrong thing. I dragged the wrong page. All right. What is the dominant image used to portray Raju's trail of the green blazer? What is the dominant image? He's trailing this guy to steal his money. What is the dominant image used to portray this? Wow, I'm seeing some strange answers. What's going on? B, D? Has to be A. Come on. It's gotta be A. Hunting. Hunting. Has to be hunting. Where do we see hunting? Images of hunting. So he's trailing this green blazer to steal his money, but it's as if he's hunting his prey. And let's see where we see hunting. Let's see. Keeping himself 3 steps behind. So he's trailing. Speaking of trailing, okay, that's okay. Yeah, so keeping himself 3 steps behind, just like a hunter might be trailing a deer, or just like a tiger might be trailing, its prey. He waited patiently. Yeah. Let's see. Hunting. It sounded like the growl of a tiger. What else? Okay, there might be more evidences, but definitely hunting is... Ow. What am I doing? Hunting is the main image here. So 53A. All right, let's go to 54. Which of the following techniques is used by the writer in the development of the green blazer character? The green blazer character. So we're at 54. Development of the green blazer character. Okay, I'm moving quickly, so I'm not going to wait for everyone to answer. 54 is C. Caricature. And I can hear some persons asking, what is a caricature? Let me reel an answer from my dictionary. Caricature, a pictorial representation of someone in which disgusting features are exaggerated for comic effect. No, even though a caricature is usually how would I put it? An image, a picture. It can also just be kind of exaggerating the features of characters. No, we can actually come to this answer by the process of elimination. A persona is not a technique at all. There's no flashback used. Is there a flashback? I don't remember any flashback happening, but if there is flashback, it's definitely not used to develop this guy's character. Yeah, basically cartoon, caricature, like cartoon. Usually you see those in the newspapers, making fun of politicians and whatnot. Pantomime doesn't make sense. Here, a pantomime, let's see, just so I give you guys precise information. Pantomime, a classical comic actor, one who works mainly through gesture or mime. So that's acting without using words. So none of these actually make any sense at all, which means the only possible answer is C. Yeah. All right. Maybe hopefully in future videos I can give more details on answers, but we're pressed for time because I want to end this stream before it hits 3 hours. 55. The writer uses Raju's thoughts to reveal that he is what? 55. The writer uses Raju's thoughts to reveal that he is. And this is the trickiest question on this passage. Actually, the second trickiest question. This is the second trickiest question on this passage. Answer C. Very tricky because B is close. But the answer is C. Generous and fond of money. Mean, he's not mean. Definitely Raju is pretty kind actually. He wants to give away some of the money to other beggars. He buys things for his wife and stuff like that. Hypocritical. I don't see any hypocrisy in his actions. And even though, yes, he is an idler, but he also works hard, doesn't he? By stealing. No. Why is it opportunistic and wily? He's opportunistic because he can look at a crowd, figure out who to rob, wait for the right moment and strike. And is he sly, cunning, full of tricks? I would say he's wily as well. So he's opportunistic and he's wily. So why is the answer C? Generous and fond of money. The key word here is thoughts. His actions suggest that he's opportunistic and wily, but his thoughts, his thinking suggests that he's generous and fond of money. Let's see his thoughts. What are his thoughts? Let's see. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is his thought, his thinking. Must give them to some beggars. He reflected. He's not saying it, he's just thinking. So his thought is showing us that, oh, he's a generous guy. He reflected generously. There is something else. The motherless boy must have his balloon at any cost. He's thinking about how this little kid is going to be so disappointed. So he's generous in that he wants this boy to get his balloon at any cost. So his thoughts shows that he's kind, that he's generous. His thoughts shows that, but his actions shows that he's opportunistic and wily. We see him, trailing the green blazer. He stops at just the right time. He takes the right opportunity to grab the purse and so on. So his actions show that he's opportunistic and wily, but his thoughts show that he's generous and fond of money. Of course, you know that he's fond of money anyway, but the generous part, definitely. Thoughts. Clear? 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 Clear. All right. 56. Which of the following critical incidents advances the plot of the extract? A little tricky, but think about it. You'll see the answer. Which of the following advances the plot? Which of the following makes something dramatic happen? Which action here triggers important actions? $56. Wow, I'm seeing B and C. What if I told that neither of those is correct? What about D? 56D. Which of the following advances the plot? Returning the purse. So purchasing the balloon, this doesn't advance the plot at all. Following the green blazer, this is happening throughout the entire first couple of paragraphs, but this doesn't significantly advance the plot. Stealing the purse. Stealing the purse is kind of a significant action, but what about when he returns it? This brings the most advancement to the plot, because when he, as a matter of fact, even before he actually returns it, when he decides to return the purse, this is where the story gets interesting, and this is where the plot is advanced. The plot is advanced because now he gets caught, and who knows what's going to happen next. So returning the purse, yeah, advances the plot. I think that's a tricky one, but that's my answer for it. 57. The narrative point of view used in the story best demonstrates that the narrator is what? 57. The narrative point of view. You see that we are using a what is the narrative point of view here? It's not first person, it's third person. But what is it is third person limited. And because of the third person limited, we can only really see what's going on in the mind of Raju. We cannot see the thoughts of anybody else, confined by the experience of a particular character. A is close, but C is more accurate. All right, I think we all got that one correct, so it should be good. Someone said D. Shifting from one point of view to the next. There's no shifting of point of view. The narrator is following Raju. We're seeing Raju's mind, Raju's thought process. And we're seeing everything from Raju's perspective, basically, from Raju's point of view. 58. You see, we're really picking up speed here. I told you this life is going to end before we hit 3 hours. You didn't believe me, did you? The writer's tone can best be described as what? What is the writer's tone? Come on, show your answers real quick. 10 seconds. 58. And by the way, you can use the process of elimination for this one. Use the process of elimination. All right, 58D. Dispassionate. Critical, the writer is not criticizing anyone. The writer is not mocking anyone or judging anyone. Dispassionate is the only one left. Dispassionate means not showing any emotion or not taking any sides. Dispassionate we know what passionate means. So this passionate is the opposite of passionate. The writer is the narrator is showing us basically this whole journey of Raju robbing. Oh, good afternoon, Lugene. Of Raju robbing the green blazer, and there is no emotion to suggest that we should feel sorry for the green blazer or feel sorry for Raju when he gets caught. The writer doesn't seem to be particularly happy about any of this, not taking sides, just reporting in a dispassionate way. 59. What devices? Ooh, this is the toughest question on this extract. This is a tough question. What devices has the writer used in the development of the narrative and its outcome? What device has the writer used in the development of the narrative and its outcome? Very tough one. I think it's a tough one. Tough question. 59. D, guys, where are you seeing sarcasm? What allegory? 59. My answer is A, irony and humor. All right, let me explain. This one requires some explanation. Let's see. Irony and humor. We see irony. Where do we see irony? There are a number of ironies here. But let's look at what the question asks. Used in the development of the narrative, the whole story, and its outcome. So whatever devices we choose, it must relate to the narrative on a whole, and it must also relate to the outcome. All right, what is the outcome? The outcome here is Raju gets caught. What is the irony in the outcome? The irony is he didn't get caught stealing the purse, but he got caught returning the purse. Very ironic. Can you imagine you're a thief and the day you get caught is the day you are returning something? You didn't get caught while you were committing the crime, but while you were trying to undo the crime, basically. So that's real irony right there. And we see more instances of irony. We see that he's a generous thief. Quite ironic. He's a thief. If he's a thief, how can he be generous? But yeah, he's generous, as we see. And the whole idea that he wants to return. So he steals the money from the man, but he cares about returning the balloon for the little boy. Ironic, isn't it? Okay, what about humor? I struggle a little bit with humor because nothing jumps out at me as being funny, but I think this last part here is supposed to be funny. Didn't quite get me dying with laughter, but the irony here in that he gets caught while returning the purse, and also the irony that he decides to return the purse in the first place, which is a dumb move, that might be humorous. If you can find any other instances of humor, I don't know. But definitely irony is a big hitter here. So it has to be A. All right, let's look at the others and see why they could not be real. Oh no, we're at 3 hours. I broke my promise. But we're going to be ending soon. Paradox. A paradox is a situation that forces you to reason in a circular way, or a situation that contradicts itself, or a situation that is both true and false. I can't explain paradox deeply, no, because we're in a rush, but there is no paradox here. That is all you need to know. There's no paradox in this. There's irony, no paradox. Satire, maybe we could say there's some satire. A satire is like, how do I put it very, very simply in the context of this passage? Like commenting on some social issue. Commenting on some social issue using humor or other devices. In this case, one issue might be that rich people are often quite stingy and mean, you know. For example, this man trying to ball down the the price for the balloon and stuff like that. So anyway, there are a few satirical elements that I won't go into, but paradox is out. Allusion, I don't see any specific allusions, but even if there's allusion, parody is out. Sarcasm, I don't know if there's sarcasm, but if there is sarcasm, it's not used to develop anything. Allegory, I don't know what's going on there. But irony and humor, definitely. Someone said the diction throughout was humorous. Well, there we have diction, we have humor. Yeah. All right. Number 60, the last one. Which of the following are responsible responsible? Are you kidding me? Which of the following are possible themes of this extract? Which of the following are possible themes of this extract? Number 60. Possible themes. Possible themes of this extract. All right, I won't hold you in suspense. My answer is A. 1 and 2. Life is simultaneously comic and sad. We see the comedy or the humor, as we mentioned in the previous question, in the thief being generous, the thief getting caught, putting back the purse and stuff like that. And sad, we see some sad elements in that someone is going to be punished for doing something that's kind of good, I guess, because he's putting back the purse and that's when he gets caught. Also, the whole thing with the boy and the balloon, and he will not be getting that balloon and stuff like that. So we see that life can be sad and funny at the same time. And 2, greedy people living beyond their means provoke tragedy. Yeah, I think Raju is living beyond his means. He's being greedy by stealing money from others. 3, necessity is the mother of invention and innovation. I do not really see this. I don't really see this. I wouldn't say that stealing is invention and innovation. Because basically, Raju is a thief. He's a skillful thief, but a thief. And I wouldn't say that is innovative or inventive in any way. So 1 and 2, which gives us A. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is supposed to be humorous. He had just the amount of energy to basically rob somebody. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty crafty line. So yeah, guys, that's it. Those are my thoughts on this passage. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with my answers? Do you disagree? Even if you disagree with some answers, I hope that the explanation... Why am I so blurry? I hope that at least the explanations and the discussions and so on would have helped you to be able to more confidently approach these questions. What's happening? Okay. I'm not sure. Luckily, we're at the end. All right. Guys, let's keep in touch. Keep in touch. You can use the comment section of this video. You can still leave a comment even after the live ends. And you can check the comments afterwards and find the link. All right, guys, peace out. Thank you for joining today. And I'll try to send like the whole answer sheet in the chat or so it's easy if you missed anything. Anyway, that's it. I think this is my last live until the exam. I think so. So guys, it's been great. Thank you. See you guys maybe next time. Maybe I'll see you again. All right. Rachel, could you resend that link? I guess it's not showing up for some persons. I don't know why. But if you could resend it, I think it would help us out. Oh, my pleasure, Rachel. By the way, if you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel, you might be missing out, because I'll be, even if I will not be doing more lives, I might be releasing more material for you guys. So subscribe, and of course like this live so others can see it. That's how it goes. I'm still so blurry. All right, let's sort out the link to that, to those papers. If it's not in the chat, I'm sure Rachel will find my email on my channel and send it to me, and then I'll post it in the video description. So guys, it's been 3 hours and 8 minutes. To the 27 of you still watching, good luck in the exams. Keep studying, keep practicing, keep writing, keep reading. All right, bye bye.